Today we are talking mistakes, more specifically mistakes that this idiot made when I first started tattooing. So, if you do not want to kill your career faster than you can swipe right and all those sexy people in the hopes of just getting one match, then carry on watching this video. Also, stick around for tip number 5 because it's a good one and it has killed more careers than Jeffrey Dahmer has taken pictures.
Take some pictures.
What is popping, people? And my God, it seems like I have not done that intro in a while. That felt so good to say. So much so that I may need to go and change my boxer shorts because I am extremely moist right now. But guys, getting straight in with number one. Number one mistake that I made was to avoid lines and script and any fine line shit at all costs. There was no way that I was gonna do that. Do you know why? Because you cannot hide your mistakes. They are there, out in the open for everyone to see. And my God, did the thought of that absolutely cripple me. But what I didn't realize is the longer that this goes on, the more and more of like an anxiety buildup you get. It is unreal. Your confidence takes a swan dive out of a 50-story building.
I'm jumping out a window!
And just hits the ground head first, splat, done for. That is what it does. So, tip number 1 is do not at any cost avoid doing script and doing lines. It got to a point where what I used to do was only do pieces that had a certain number of lines in and the lines that could be hid, and then I would just completely fuck off the rest. Like seriously, I wouldn't even entertain it. It just cripples you. It really does. So do not avoid it. Embrace it. Do it. I guarantee that if you can tattoo some script on ribs or say a stomach, my God, you will be able to line anywhere, no problem. So do not shy away from lines and script because of anxiety or a fear of, you know, pulling a shoddy line. It took me so long to gain the confidence of doing lines. It really did, way longer than it needed to be if I'd just done them in the first place. So that is tip number 1. Now tip number 2 is a good one for people that start out at home like I did. What I wanted to do was be good enough to get into a tattoo studio. It's all you want to do. So at home, you tattoo, you build up a little tattoo portfolio enough to walk into a studio and get a job. It's as simple as that. That's the way that it works. Or you could set up your own tattoo studio, but for the sake of argument, let's go with you just building a portfolio to get into a studio. But you go to these studios and they all turn you down because your work just isn't up to the standard that that studio wants to produce and put out. So then what happens is you go around all these others, you get turned down, and then suddenly a studio takes you on. But I can almost guarantee that the studio that takes you on isn't a very good studio. And sometimes you may actually be better than some of the artists in that studio, and you started out at home with absolutely no help apart from dickheads like me on the internet giving you some advice. And you're just so happy to be in a studio that that's all you really care about. You don't care about who you are surrounding yourself with. And you, for the most part, will not get better by surrounding yourself with artists that aren't of a caliber that you are at, and you aren't even good. So if you're not even good, imagine how bad they are. Now, I'm not saying you're not good. I mean, you could be good, but generally when you start out, you're not good, so yeah, you get it. But yes, they aren't good. They're practically worse than you. How can you progress when you do not surround yourself with good artists? If anything, they are just going to bring your work down. It would have been a lot better for you just to stay at home, get better, keep just chipping away, stay on that tattoo grind, and build up a better portfolio to get into a more reputable tattoo studio. So do not go out there thinking that you are in a studio so you are progressing, because that is not always the case, trust me. Now on to tip number 3, and that would be to stay out of tattoo politics. I know what it's like. You know what it's like. If you are on social media, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, there is always the artists that you look up to that are just like complaining about something in the tattoo industry. And you, as a new tattoo artist, want to get involved. So what you do is you start commenting on these posts of the artists that you admire. And then suddenly, you find yourself deep in, 3 hours later, in arguments with random people that you don't know, that are even, again, worse than you are at tattooing. But they have, you start talking about tattoo politics and stuff, and it's just not good. It gets nastier than the underside of a portable toilet seat at a festival, full of 4-day-old, air-dried, sweaty teen ball sacks. But I know what it's like when you want to, milk the teat of that artist that you admire to somehow get some form of validation from that artist that you admire. It is not a good place to be in. You start to form opinions, and you start to have people form opinions of you. When it comes to tattooing, stay professional whenever you can. Do not get involved, and certainly do not get involved for any form of gratification from that artist post that you are commenting on. It's just not good. Seriously, don't do it. Next on my list of awesome tips would be not to buy gear before you understand what that gear does. I know what it's like. You want to be seen using the top of the top brands. You want to be big dick swinging tattoo artist. Look at me. I am using a brand spanking machine that costs probably upwards of like 700 quid these days. And that makes you feel good. That does make you feel good. But all that does is give you the title of all the gear and no idea. Now, yes, you need to buy a machine. Obviously, you need to buy a machine to tattoo. Otherwise, what are you going to tattoo with? But you need to understand tattooing and everything about tattooing and machines before you can take advantage of these new machines and what they provide. Don't go wasting your money on all these brand new mod cons and stuff. Just stick to what you've got, learn it, use it. You don't need all the top spec stuff to do a top spec tattoo. You really don't. And now on to tip number 5, and the most important tip I feel of all of them, and that is controlling your own ego. Now, ego can build or it can destroy. Now, an example of building, for me, I am the best tattoo artist in the world, hands down. Nobody comes close to me. Or that is what I am telling myself when I am tattooing. Seriously, in my own head, when I am tattooing, nobody beats me, right? But when I've finished tattooing, when I'm at the end of that tattoo and I'm looking at the tattoo, I am ripping that tattoo to shreds. There is no ego. The ego is gone. It's only around for that particular time to propel me in doing a better tattoo. And everyone should do that. Seriously, everybody, I believe, should do that. Ego can also kill your career. Ego can turn you bitter and it can turn you jealous. For example, if you are working your absolute butt off, you are working so hard to improve as a tattooist, you see somebody that is gaining more traction from you when they are not of your caliber, when they are not of your quality, but they are getting all the things that you want, that is a hard thing to deal with, and it's a hard thing to see. Maybe you want 25,000 Instagram followers and you are producing a standard of work of 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 Instagram followers. But then you look at somebody and they've got that 100,000 followers and you can tattoo them under the table. Trust me guys, it is a hard thing to see when someone is getting more likes, more shares, more engagement, and they are just terrible compared to you. Ego takes over and it makes you bitter and it makes you jealous. Even when it came to YouTube, guys, I got like that a little bit. I'm not ashamed to tell you. I'd put out 50 or 60 videos and I'd gained 2,000 subscribers or thereabouts, give or take. Other artists that I'd seen on YouTube, I'd put up 2 videos and gained 25, 30, 40,000 subscribers just off of those 2 videos. I'd done 50 times the work that they had done. And I hadn't gained even close to the amount that they had got. And this messed me up a little bit. It really did. It almost made me stop doing YouTube because I thought I must have been doing a bad job. But when you come to understand how YouTube works and what you need to do to drive traffic, to drive clicks, you understand why your videos have done not as good as those 2 videos that particular artist has put up. And what you need to do is you need to get rid of that ego. You need to keep it in check and you need to harness it and you need to turn it around and make it a positive. And now I'm not talking about YouTube now, but like just in general. If you are seeing people be successful, harness that ego and try to find out why they are being successful and then apply it to your own game. Don't just dismiss it. Ego will turn you nasty. It really will. It will give you such a chip on your shoulder. A lot of artists that could be absolutely spectacular refuse to work in studios and refuse to work with other people because they think that this industry is so bad. And you are holding yourself back. You really, really are, because you cannot let go of your ego because somebody might have said something bad to you once, which in hindsight, when you are at a level, you will understand. I promise you, you really will understand. So do not let ego drive you down. Let ego push you up. But guys, that is all for today. Thank you all for joining me in today's video. Muchas love to everyone. If you have not seen it already, there is a tattoo video on my channel called The Ultimate Guide to Tattoo Shading. It is on like 50k views right now. It is doing pretty well. If you've not seen it, go watch it. Also guys, if you didn't know, I have a Patreon. The link is in the description. If you want to get all your tattoo questions answered and you want me on tap, if you want your tattoos privately critiqued, it can all be done in this Discord server. So if you want to join that, link again is in the description. But guys, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, muchas love, bye.